Good morning, students. Today we start our next chapter, Federalism. In chapter first, we discuss about power sharing and discuss the two stories from the different nations. One was Belgium and one was Sri Lanka. Federalism is also the part of power sharing because in federalism the power is divided between the levels of government. It means that in this chapter we discuss about the vertical form of power sharing. Before we discuss this chapter, we have to discuss about the meaning of this word, that is federalism. This is an English word which is derived from the Latin word fodius, which means treaty or pact. So this word is derived from which language? Latin language, and the word is fodius, and fodius means the treaty or the pact. In simple word we can say about federation that a group of states that have joined together in a single group that is known as federation. Behind this federation maybe there are several objectives like the security, like to improve the economic system, etc. Three great personalities were in the favor of federalism, that were Alexander Hamilton, James Madison and George Washington. These were the advocates of federalism. Now we start our chapter. That in this chapter we focus on the vertical division of power sharing among the different levels of government, like the central government, the state government and the local government. We try to understand the theory and practice of federalism, the constitutional provisions. We also learned about the third tier of Indian federalism, that is the local government, which came into effect after the 73rd Amendment in 1992. So we discuss all these things in this chapter. First we start with the definition of federalism, that what is federalism. So it is also a system of government. That what is federalism? It is a system of government in which the power is divided between a central authority, that is central government, and other various constituent units of the country like the state government and the local government. It means the division of power. Federalism is equal to division of power between the central authority, that is the central government, and other various constituent units like the state government and the local government. So this is the definition of federalism. Usually a federation has two levels of government. One is government for the entire country, that is usually responsible for a few subjects of common national interest, that the subjects which are the part of which list? Union list. So on that subject, on those subjects the central government has right to make the laws. The others are governments at the level of province or the states that look after much of the day-to-day administering of the states. So this is the definition of federalism. Next concept that we discuss here, that distinction between the federation and the unitary form of government. In this world there are so many countries which adopted the federation system and some countries which have the unitary form of government. Let us discuss one by one. First of all, here we start from our federation or federalism. There are usually two levels of government. One is the government for entire country, that is central government, and responsible for few subjects of common national interest like the defense, like the currency, like the post office, like the banking system in a country. Second one is government for the states, day-to-day administration of the state. So the states government, they are looking after the day-to-day administration in the country. Next, the central government cannot order state government. It means that in a federation the state government has their autonomy. It means that they are not subordinate to the central government. State government are not answerable to the central government. So these are the provisions under the federation or federalism. Which are the countries which are adopted the federalism process? That is India, United States of America and Australia. These are the examples of federation. Next one is unitary system of government. In the unitary system of government, either one level of government or the subunits are the subordinate to the central government. It means that in those countries, those adopted the unitary system of government, there is the single government, that is the central government is supreme, and other governments, if they are there, they are only subordinate and they are under the control of the central government. Central government can order state government. So in the unitary system of government, the central government is always powerful and it can give order to the state governments. State government answerable to the central government because these are not autonomous in the unitary form of government. England, France, Italy, Japan, these are the examples of the unitary system of government. So students, we discuss that what is the distinction between the federation and the unitary government. The next concept is very important and very easy, that the features of federalism. That what are the major features of federalism. So first feature that we discuss here, that is the vertical form of power sharing. It means that there are two or more levels of government. In our country India, basically we have two levels of government. One is central government for the entire country and second is the state government for the different states. Second, different tiers of governments govern the same citizens but each has its own jurisdiction. In chapter first, we discuss about the list, union list, state list and the concurrent list, which are mentioned in the Indian Constitution and division of power made by our Indian Constitution. So different types of government like the central government, state government and the local government, they are governing the same citizens. It means the voters and the people of the country, but each has its own jurisdiction. Jurisdiction, what do you mean by jurisdiction? That the area over which someone has legal authority. The state government has no right to make law in the given subjects of union list because it is the jurisdiction of the central government to make law in the given subjects of the central list or the union list. The jurisdiction of the respective levels or tiers are specified in the Indian Constitution. If we are talking about our country, India is also the example of federation. India adopted this quasi-federation system from Canada. So the jurisdiction of the respective level, it means the division of power are mentioned in the constitution of a country which are adopted which kind of government, the federalism type of government. The next one is that the fundamental provisions of the constitution cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of government. I want to tell you that there is a provision of constitutional amendment which we adopted from a country, that is South Africa, and the constitutional amendment provision are mentioned in article 368, and by the three ways we can amend our Indian constitution: by the simple majority, by the special majority, and by the special majority plus the central government has to take permission from more than 50% states per government. For example, when we adopted GST, goods and services tax, so this is the matter which related to whole the nation. That's the reason that when the more than 50% of the states of India, when they say yes, then the GST was implemented in our country India. But here we are talking about fundamental provisions like equality, like fraternity, liberty, fundamental rights. All these are the fundamental provisions of our Indian Constitution which can't be changed by the single kind of government like the central or the state government. Next, that is that the courts have the power to interpret constitution and the powers of the different levels of government. When we discuss about the different organs of government, at the time I told you that the guardian of our Indian Constitution and the protector of our fundamental rights is the judiciary system of our country India. So in a federation, there is a judiciary system which has power to interpret the constitution and the powers of the different levels of the government. It can check, the courts have power to check the working system of the government. Sources of revenue for each level of government are also clearly specified to ensure its financial autonomy. The federal system thus has dual objectives. First, safeguarding and promoting unity of the country and accommodate regional diversity. I want to give one example related to this. When Poti Shri Ramullu, who belonged to Andhra Pradesh, who was the follower of Gandhi and was the leader of Congress party, he demanded that Andhra Pradesh would be a separate state on the basis of language. At that time, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru thought that if we divide India on the basis of language, then there would be a chance of disintegration of the whole nation. But after the death of Poti Shri Ramullu, 56 days after his fast, then the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru declared that Andhra Pradesh would become the first state of India on the basis of language. So in federation, if we are respecting the different demands of the different people, like language policy, there are 22 languages which are recognized by the Indian Constitution. So behind federalism, it is promoting and safeguarding the unity of the country. Today we have 28 states and 9 union territories, but India is a single nation because we accommodate the regional demands or the regional diversity. So two aspects of an ideal federal system, one is mutual trust and second one is agreement to live together. So these are the features of our federalism or a federal system. There is a word jurisdiction, the area over which someone has legal authority. They may be defined in the terms of geographical boundaries or in the terms of certain kinds of subjects. Subjects are the part of union list, state list and the concurrent list, and geographical boundaries, it means that the boundaries of Haryana states, in the boundary of Haryana state only the Haryana government has right to make the law. No other government like the Punjab government or Uttar Pradesh government can frame law for our geographical boundary. Next concept is the two kinds of routes through which federations have been formed. This is very important question, that which kind of routes by which we can make federation, we can form federation. There are two routes, that is coming together federation and holding together federation. In coming together federation, when the independent states come together to form a bigger unit, and this bigger unit can form by the independent states to increase the power, to protect their boundaries from the different countries of the world. So what is coming together federation? When the independent states, they come together to form a bigger unit to serve their objectives like the security, like the sovereignty, and like improve their economy. Under this, all the constituent states usually have equal power. Suppose that United States of America, it is the federation of 50 countries. So in this kind of federation, all the constituent states, they have equal power. United States of America is the federation of 50 countries, Switzerland 26 cantons, and Australia 6 British colonies. In 1901, Australia Federation was formed. So all these three countries are the examples of which kind of federation? The coming together federation. So students, what is coming together federation? That when independent states come together to form a bigger unit to serve their objectives like security, like sovereignty, that is the coming together federation. Next one is holding together federation. When a large country divides its power between the constituent states and the national government. India is one of the best example of holding together federation because there is a central authority, that is the central government, and the central government divides the power between the states government. Under this, the central government tends to be more powerful. In this kind of federation, always the central government is always more powerful as compared to the states government. India, Spain, Belgium are the examples of holding together federations. So which are the countries which are the examples of holding together federation? India, Spain and Belgium. Very often different constituent units of federation have unequal power. Some units granted special powers. So students, today we discuss about that what is federalism, what are the features of federalism, what is the distinction between the unitary form of government and a federal form of government, and then we discussed that by which routes we can form federation in the world, by the two routes, that is the coming together federation and holding together federation. Thank you and have a nice day.